Uh,
So it's so amazing to have met somebody via an application. And don't get me wrong when I say I met somebody via an application. It's something called as Coffee Mug, where they basically show you recommendations of corporate people that you can meet and understand each other's journey and learn stuff from. And in 2021 or maybe early 2022, I happened to meet Yash Bansal, this amazing guy who was having an amazing job at Goldman Sachs, and the life living in Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore, everything, having a pet to look after. But the pandemic happened, and his problem statement towards taking care of pet changed everything. And today we are going to talk to founder Yash Bansal and understand more about his venture, which is Pet Perfect. So thank you so much, Yash, and it's so amazing to see you grow from then to now. Many congratulations.
yep, and thank you for having me here. Like, yep, looking forward to our conversations. Yep, yep.
So I still remember our conversation back at that time when you were still, working on to your startup, Pet Perfect, and like literally the early days to now, when I see maybe it's a year or more compared to the time we first spoke. So, what has really changed? I mean, I first want to understand from you. You had a really great job at a really great company in a really great city. तुम्हारे पास बहुत पैसा है क्या, like what made you leave a nice pay package job first of all to start with?
Yeah. So essentially, like, it was like majority of two things. I'd say, like, one was essentially that. So the work at GS was amazing. Like, I was liking it, and there was good learning curve as well. So starting with it was exponential. Over the time, it was there, but it became linear. Yeah. So that was one of the things. And apart from that, then pandemic was going on, and like then I had gotten my pets, right. So during their upbringing, I was facing like a lot of issues. So essentially, how it started was like I always wanted a pet, and my parents never allowed one. And so moving to Bangalore, got a chance, got a cat. Later in lockdown, got Ayan, my German Shepherd. And during their upbringings, I realized pet parenting is not as rosy as it seems to be. It has like it comes with a lot of responsibilities. So as a pet parent, one needs to figure out a lot of things in terms of information regarding various topics like training, healthcare, grooming, nutrition, many more things. Figuring out all of the activities that you're supposed to do. I didn't know there is something called vaccination deworming as well. So I figured that out. Then figured out a lot of things that I had to figure out. And even after figuring all of those things out with my work, wherein like it used to happen a lot of times that at dinner times, I used to remember कि मैं अपना lunch करना भूल गया. So in that scenario, I could not rely upon my own memory to sort of like remember all of the things for them. So that's when I started looking out for solutions for the same, and couldn't find anything globally. And that's when I was like, okay, like started delving into it more. And then that was the time that I decided, okay, probably I am financially independent, and like parents are also not dependent on me at that moment. And uh, I'm in a good position wherein I can take the risk as well. So why not go ahead and like give it a shot. So that's how like I jumped onto it.
So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, and I don't want to take away from your efforts and work and everything, but is it like a lucky or incident or a happenstance where you are like, okay, uh, I'm not enjoying my work and I figured out this problem statement? Like, was it ever an idea that I'm going to make it on a large scale and not just for me? Like, not it's not going to be a solution for me, but also for other parents of pets out in the world.
Yeah. So essentially, like when I jumped onto it, like I did a bit of study around it. That okay, like it is something a big problem because I searched for solutions even in US, Europe. Okay, like I might get an app which is there, a platform which is existing out there, which has not yet reached India. But essentially, there isn't anything globally which can sort of give you like a whole personalized journey as to which what you are supposed to do and know at any given point in time. So yeah, like for a human baby, if we were to think like human baby ka, So you can imagine the whole life, right? Okay, there will be like a delicate tender care age, फिर उसके बाद there will be kindergarten, then there will be these sort of things they'll start making friends, and there will be like, you can imagine the whole life and what the kid would be doing, what the parent is supposed to do for them, right? Whereas if you were to think about pets, we are clueless. Like there are different stages in life of a pet as well. There are a lot of many things that are supposed to be there, but essentially there doesn't exist anything out there which can help out with that. And it is a very big industry as well, like globally, like
Yeah,
over a $250 billion industry globally. So that's where, like, I was like, okay, this is something I'm passionate about, and if I'm facing this problem, a lot of other people are also facing problem. Why not go ahead and like tackle this out? Could be like a good value proposition in terms of building kind of a business around it as well. So earlier when we started, we didn't have a business model around it or so. We were just solving out the problem. Over the time, we figured out, okay, there can be some business models around it, and like how can we earn money from it as well. Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, you're absolutely right in calling out it is such a big multi-billion dollar kind of a industry, because right from the food for pets, be it pedigree or the different brands that we see in advertisement, as well as in a mall or in a multiplex or a, different places where we go and they are like, okay, now we are pet friendly, so we'll be giving these options. And I mean, I remember even back then, and even today, it seems so surprising that uh, really there weren't many options to tackle this problem, because I'm pretty sure many pet parents would be facing this. And I'm pretty sure you would have researched, which is why you came up with a solution. So you never found an application which would really help you in this journey of your as a pet parent.
So there are like very basic apps, I'd say, or basic solutions. So when I say basic, like so essentially what applications are doing is they'll give you an alarm clock kind of a functionality there, and you can go and feed that. Okay, I want a vaccination reminder on this date. I want a feeding reminder at this time. If I were to do that, I can do that in my alarm clock in my
Oh,
calendar, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, that's what the applications are doing. And like there are applications which will directly talk upon, okay, for dogs, this is supposed to be the thing that you should be doing or knowing. But essentially, the things that you're supposed to know or do depends upon the breed of the dog that you have. There are like a lot of factors on which it depends. Like let's take an example of simple bathing your dog. So that depends upon the breed type, the coat type of the dog. So for a German Shepherd versus a Chihuahua or an Indian dog, like it's going to be a completely different schedule. So right now, whatever information you're getting, it's like dog hai ye kara do. And essentially how it is supposed to be is, आपके पास ये dog है, उसकी ये age है. Okay, on these factors, this should be the right schedule. So what essentially then I was looking out for was like a complete automated solution, since like we being in tech industry, like we are used to like, okay, we want everything automated, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. Like okay, there should be something, and there is like a big scope there. Yeah. And what we are doing it essentially is it in that way itself, that okay, you got a German Shepherd, 3 months is the age, and a male. Yep, and you get everything automated automatically. You don't have to do anything.
So basically, in creating this repository of FAQ and stuff, you yourself became an encyclopedia of, okay, which breed, what age, and everything, because you literally are talking like an encyclopedia right now for me. So, I mean, how was the transition for Yash, you yourself, when you were, okay, left the job? It's okay with my parents; they can take care of things, and I mean, that is also an asset, right? In your entrepreneurship or solopreneurship journey, because if you have that dependency, you really need a paycheck to look after yourself or your family, and that's the case with most of us in India. So, leaving all that aside, leaving understanding your pet problems and things that you were missing out, how was your journey as a founder when you thought, okay, so karna hai full fledged and I'm going into this, I'm going to deep dive into this? What has that journey been like for you?
Yep. And then like, definitely you mentioned a very good point as well. Like I'd really say like it's kind of a privilege itself when I look back, like okay, like having that kind of an independence at that time, that I was able to start. Like and like when I talk about the journey, so it was, as I was telling about the pet parenting journey, right? So it's kind of similar itself. Like, so essentially, we jumped onto it. We started working upon it. So initial 1 year was like creating things, working out कि okay ये भी कर देंगे, ये भी कर देंगे, ये भी कर देंगे, and then creating things, and then ultimately figuring, okay, nobody's using it.
Were
So
you working alone at this time, or did you have a couple of friends or people who were a part of your team?
so there were like a bunch of people with whom like I was working itself, like so one or two friends, and like formed like a small team there, and like with few of the people who joined me as interns, and like yep, so we were working upon this. So yep, essentially started working, and thought of like a lot of bunch of things, ye bhi karenge, ye bhi karenge, ye bhi karenge, and then like created an application in around what, 4 months, had like around 12 13 features at that time, in just 4 months, and like amazing features, like all the things that a pet parent would need, like inbuilt e-commerce, like complete diet chart calculator, like many more things, right? And but to the result that like we onboarded 500 users, and just after 2 days everybody left. Nobody's using it. So essentially, like that 1 year initial was around um, that uh, transition, or like the shift in the mindset, or like getting to know, okay, nobody is like a genius that you'll start executing and like it will start happening automatically. First of all, we need to go ahead and whatever we are doing, we need to go ahead first, learn how to do things. So there needs to be a phase there, and you figure out, ki, okay, if you're executing this, so okay, there would be like certain set of things that you need to learn regarding the design aspects. You need to learn regarding the development aspects. You need to learn regarding distribution. Ki, like, okay, you developed it, but now you need to distribute it to the people. How do you get the people onto the app and get them using it? So like the initial, the main crucial part was, and I'd say like the biggest learning has been this itself, the shift in the mindset that okay, everything starts with like scratch. Like you need to go ahead and learn how to do things. Like if it would have been that easy that okay, ye tum karna start karo ho jayega, to like everybody would have been doing everything, like literally, like it would have been that way, but no. uh, uh, if everybody is not doing everything, that means like you need to go ahead and learn things. And like the way I like sort of like tell it to like everybody who's joining the team is that way, that okay, let's say if I were to go ahead and bake a cake today, which I don't know, right? I won't go ahead and like try to figure out कि okay, okay, like I'll figure out myself कि like वो ऐसे दूध डालते हैं इसके अंदर, या फिर चीनी डालते हैं, नमक डालते हैं, what is supposed to be there. It's like we were doing that, like okay, केक बनाते हैं आज, खुद से क्या क्या होना चाहिए, and essentially went into it. But no, we are not supposed to be that doing that way. We would go ahead, look up some recipes on YouTube or Google, and then like we'll figure out like how good people are making it, who make the good recipes and like good cakes, and then go about implementing it and iterating over it. So yeah, so the initial 1 year was that, and then post that, like okay, it was like then we started building it out like December 2021 onwards. We basically scrapped all the things that we had worked upon till then, and we started from scratch building out the app again. There, and like we were going ahead like one feature at a time, like giving it time in terms of the whole UX, the development, and seeing it from end to end. Okay, how is it supposed to be like, and they're also like thinking upon it first. Okay, which features are the ones which we should be picking up first. It's not like okay, we go ahead and pick up any feature. Like earlier we were like, let's build 12 features at one go. Yeah. So it is not supposed to be that way. So yeah. So that's where like then the journey evolved into okay, like then going ahead and learning each and every aspect of whatever we are doing. And yeah, we are at a stage right now where I'm like now we are working upon learning the marketing. Yeah.
This is amazing, man. This is amazing. And I loved your crazy analogy about, if I don't know baking, I'll learn it and do stuff. But it's also amazing to, even listen to the story again and again. I don't mind. I remember this conversation even back then, but this is so interesting because, even as a developer, technologist, tester, whatever we may call ourselves, or as engineers, the roles that we may play, it is so important for us to, not just create 10,000 of things just for the heck of it. Or, like I have found 500 bugs, but like, were they really bugs? Like, what importance was it? Was it solving any problem? What user advantage it gave to you? There is so many things to, learn from just this example and just this journey of yours. Because at one side of a developer's mind, we'll think, oh my god, all that effort of creating everything and just scrapping it, it's such an expensive thing, right? Like, my ROI just went zero or maybe negative because I created so much and then I let it all go and create everything from scratch. But it is so important to, think about the basic things, the first principles, and create something from there and have a good foundation which can really help you grow. Otherwise, it becomes another app which is saying the user, okay, ठीक है भाई, calendar में time block कर और मैं बता दूंगा vaccination देने कब जाना है, right? Like, what's the difference then between them and us? So
Yep.
I appreciate your honesty and, the transparency with which you narrated your story and your journey really of how this has come into picture. And now that you're looking into marketing, I think I reached out to you at the bang on time, because I was like, yeah, I think I need to have somebody who I have no, I mean, I always see to it that people in my network should be on my podcast, right? Like, what's the use of having a podcast and people in your life if I'm not talking to them? So I am just happy that this worked out. And any advice you want to give to people or kids who these days, स्टार्टअप हो गया, entrepreneur हो गया, आजकल के लिए एक बहुत फैंसी सी चीज हो गई है. It's like how probably a Pokemon Digimon would have been while you were growing up. It has become like that for this generation. So what do you really suggest to, kids or even elders who are thinking about entrepreneurship or creating a startup or becoming a founder? Anything you would want to say?
Mm, yeah, like if one thing, if you were to ask me, like then I'll pick up that itself. Like so essentially, whenever you're uh, um, thinking about anything, like you can even think of, like there are so many great things out there that would be like amazing to have, right? And you would come up with amazing ideas, but it's always important to test out whatever you are thinking of even before launching it. And there's a very standard term which everybody would be knowing, which is called MVP, which is minimum viable product. But it's not really the MVP which we think of, like, and like as I thought of, like, so in the first version when we were creating, our MVP was like creating the app and giving it to the users. But that was a really expensive MVP to learn from. So it is supposed to be in a very feasible and in a very cost effective manner there, and like within a short span of time, with least amount of money spent, you can learn ki, okay, whatever you are building, is it going to get users to use it in the first place? And then you can even test with that MVP itself, okay, will people keep on using it further and further or not? And the way to do it is basically, and like it is like very very dependent upon what you are trying to implement. All right, I'll give you a quick example into like how can we do it, like or like how we did it. Let's take this example itself, that okay, we thought of a feature that okay, if we give people that okay, for their pets age and breed, we'll give them customized reminders for all of their activities, so they'll love it. And they'll be, there's this problem that they keep on forgetting stuff, and like they'll keep on using it further and further throughout their life. Okay, so this was a thing that we have that we had thought that this is something which is going to be required, and like which we'll build out a solution for. So now let's say we have a problem that we have to test this out. So one way is create an app, create the whole functionality, give it to the users, and like then test it out. But no, that's not really an MVP to test it out. That would be very expensive. The cheapest way, the most economical way that we could figure out and what we implemented for figuring it out that okay, is it going to work or not was uh, we created events on calendar invite. So basically, we created a calendar invite corresponding to all the activities of the dog, and we asked them, okay, which breed and age they have, and we put up that calendar invite onto their Google in Calendar. And now, whenever the activity is there, they'll get an invite. They'll get an event invite. Okay, there's this event, and by just the mere so essentially the first step that okay we need to know that okay whether people will start using it or not. Okay, we went ahead with the people. Okay, do you require such a solution? So the amount of people you reached out to versus the amount of people who agreed to that they love a solution like this and they would want to implement that or check it out, you get the first metric. Okay, how many people will be liking to have it in the first place? So that conversion rate, we were able to figure that out. And then after that, we were measuring, okay, what were the amount of people who were using it for 30 days? And that's how we figured out from that small MVP itself, okay, once we create an app, once we create a feature, we build it up, we give it to all the users, these many people will start using it. Out of those people who will start using it, these many people will keep on using it till day 30. So you get a very good rough estimate around it from that MVP that okay how the future is gonna be like, and whenever so that's my one piece like okay like whenever anybody is thinking about creating anything or building about anything, so think of the most cost effective MVP, how you can test it out. Yeah, and like predict the future beforehand. You should know the future beforehand that okay once you're gonna create it completely, how's it gonna unfold? You should know it beforehand itself.
I love this solution for two reasons. One is the practicality in it, and the second is the number of times you said to test it out. So everything requires testing. I mean, I'm a pro for testing, and like you also mentioned, like we as technologists like to automate stuff, right? So automation and testing is something which I have loved for all my career, and I think I have my bias there. So I love this answer for practicality and the fact that it's talking very loudly about okay you need to test this out, because until unless you test it out, how are you going to figure out that am I even creating a solution that is solving somebody's problem, or I'm just wasting my time and energy. So I really enjoyed this conversation, Yash, with you. And in case you have any parting thoughts, or in case I missed out on asking something to you, please, the stage is all yours.
um I thought that was just like this one piece itself for whoever is watching. Like, okay, like test it out as an MVP, and yep, and then like go ahead, like watch out, like amazing videos. Like there are a lot of people who have been there and done that. Like try learning it as well on the way while you're implementing it. I know like while implementation you get that thrill and like amazing feel. Okay, we are doing so much and like it feels amazing, but trust me, like once you go past that zone, then you hand it out to the users, then you figure out, okay, nobody's using it. That is like a devastating moment at all as well. So like to avoid that, like essentially, like yeah, like if the learning starts from the beginning, that would be amazing. Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty, Yash. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on my podcast and hear your story firsthand. I hope Pet Perfect does some wonders in this space and solves actual problems rather than just creating calendar invites like we were talking about how your competitors maybe are doing. And now I think I'm branding or marketing you a little. But I mean, yeah, it's so funny that if the only thing that we are supposed to do is creating calendar invite, it's good as a MVP to test out, but it's not good to just have the product around that one piece of thing. So more power to you on creating a solution for more pet parents, and I hope you shine even brighter in the future days to come. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yep. It was I lovely talking to you. Yep.
Thanks.